Dr. Raghuraman has worked with Age UK Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly to explore transitioning to a hybrid work style.
So while Age UK takes on the enormous task of steadily driving the culture change within their organisation, we at the Inclusivity Project have been developing a process that we can hopefully trial with other organisations across a range of sectors as we all move on to a more hybrid way of working. Because these are issues that affect all of us, albeit in different ways, and we have now been presented with an opportunity to really learn from the process and to learn from the pandemic and learn from how we've transformed our way of working. And this is an opportunity for us to make work more accessible, more inclusive, and more enriching to our lives. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is productivity and reimagining productivity in the workplace. So as organizations are moving to hybrid ways of work, monitoring and measuring productivity and performance are starting to look quite different. Here, visibility is becoming a key issue because out of sight can often mean out of mind. And this can create new anxieties and uncertainties for employees as they start thinking about performance evaluations and role progressions. So discussions around reimagining our prior conceptualizations of productivity and performance in the workplace are already starting to take place within the organization. Next, let's talk about social connection and isolation. We found that a lot of Age UK employees are feeling quite isolated, and they're quite fed up with working out of their home offices and their kitchen tables and their bedrooms, and they're craving social interaction with their peers and colleagues. And this can be especially challenging for people that live alone and they look at the office space for social interaction. And as physical work and social spaces are being replaced by more virtual social and work spaces, people are starting to miss the creative interaction that comes from being in the office, and they're quite wary of the dangers of siloed life and siloed working. And so making virtual social and workspaces more engaging and more accessible to everyone in the organization has become a key priority. And not everyone likes that. People are awkward on Zoom coffees and Zoom chats and like Zoom social interactions, and they don't like it. So just making them more enjoyable and more accessible to everyone so that everyone feels connected to everyone else in the organization is important. Moving on to team building and support. So in the world of hybrid work, team building and social cohesion are now more important than ever because some of the teams at Age UK, especially the client-facing teams, perform particularly challenging roles. And at the end of a really long and emotionally demanding day or a phone call, they've voiced the need for establishing a support system, be it a one-on-one session or a group session, for purposes of de-escalation and debriefing. And this brings us to the issue of burnout in the workforce. Through the discussions, we found that the speed and intensity of work can often be quite high at home, and employees can often forget to take breaks, especially when balancing work and life demands. So this can add an additional layer of stress as well. And in the absence of a physical workspace, this can go unnoticed, and employees in the workforce have lost access to the support that they would otherwise have in the office. Technology can offer really key solutions here, from optimizing and automating diary management to introducing digital reminders to take routine breaks. These solutions can actually help prevent burnout among the workforce. It's because now we don't commute to meetings. So it's like you jump from one meeting to another. So one meeting ends on the dot, and then you jump into another meeting and you don't have time to breathe. And finally, trust and flexibility. The key to understanding trust and flexibility when employing a hybrid work policy is that not everyone has the same options for flexibility in the workplace. For example, some jobs can be performed remotely and at home, while others still have to be performed on location. And so transparency in the decision-making process can really level the playing field because everyone has a say and can understand how these decisions are being made around the transition policy. As more employees are working from home or working hybrid, there are uncertainties around how to manage work and time. So making guidelines around this explicit, yet not prescriptive, can really help employees navigate that transition smoothly. So at the Inclusivity Project, we're supporting Age UK as they drive their hybrid work strategy in a staggered and an iterative manner with short and long-term goals with the aim of embedding a culture change within the organization. Short-term goals can focus on quick wins, which are really practical, feasible changes that can be implemented across the organization quite quickly and effectively. So short-term goals are in the form of quick wins. So these short-term goals and quick wins will be trialed with small teams within the organization to begin with, and eventually rolled out to the organization at large once the trial and error process is complete. Another example of a quick win is moving from centrally located hubs for both work and for social interaction to more locally connected hubs, which are more accessible to people that are located remotely and are located in rural locations and can't access the central hubs. So moving to a more place-based network, which can really help with reducing social isolation and helping people have more access to social gatherings as well as work gatherings. Age UK Cornwall's long-term goals in this process involve driving a culture change within the organization. And a key aspect of this is to make their guidelines and operating principles for their hybrid policy quite explicit in the form of a code of practice. And in order to maximize and create individual accountability and participation in the process of transition, the code of practice will be completely employee-led and co-designed by the workforce. This process will be overseen by Age UK Cornwall's Healthy Workplace team with representatives from across the organization in order to make the process really inclusive and to make the decision-making process transparent and fair. And because of how unprecedented this is, it's virtually impossible for any organization in any sector to get this right the first time. So building expectations of constant evolutions and constant adjustments over time is key to the process of transition as well. And so adapting to and evolving with this transition process is now more important than it has ever been.